permen apa yang paling besar di dunia? I said, what? Candy Borobudur. Okay. And then my youngest boy, 6 years old, also like to play tebak-tebakan with me. Daddy, how many finger do I holding? Have any of you seen my wife and children? No, neither do I. It's okay. How do I enjoy movie? My daughter described that to me. So every movie scene that has not dialogue, she always described that to me. Yeah, that's why I can enjoy the movie. Until one day, they release a movie. The title is A Quiet Place. And you know what's the worst part is? I watched the second one. I'm Blind Man Jack. Thank you very much, everyone.
So allow me tonight as a married man to unveil the secret for you guys tonight. No more gaming, can't go clubbing. She will be mad if she caught me wanking. She always complaining, and kids are annoying. This will be the start of your endless suffering. My name is Carlton. God is so kind. God bless you all.
So I learned Arab language since I was a kid. That's why I have so many Arab friends in Indonesia. Some of them are from Libya, from Saudi Arabia, from Condet. So many Arab guys in there. But if you guys think that Arab people is not able to speak English, you wrong. Because in fact, Arab people can speak English fluently, especially in online game Counter-Strike. Bomb has been planted. There was Arab guy with a turban. His English is so good. I told that joke to one of my Arab friends and he got offended. He's so mad, he's so angry. He said to me, Muzaki, if you think that all Arab people is terrorists, you wrong. Mia Khalifa is porn star. I mean, Muhammad Salah is football player, why you don't?
But it's fantastic anyway. But the biggest first that we're going to see this evening is, and I'm very proud to say that I might have been a part of bringing Ben up to where he is tonight. As I said, Ben was working with us 5-6 years ago, and he was very nervous back then. Not as nervous as he is right now. He was extremely nervous back then, and he was fumbling through his jokes, and he was, kind of finding his way as a comedian. But I got to tell you, now to watch him perform is a real pleasure for me because he's come such a long way as a comedian in Indonesian, but also performing in English for you guys tonight. So please give a massive round of applause for your star this evening. Give it up for Ben Tanio!
Everyone's got a fucking gimmick. Hi everyone, how are you? Good? You enjoyed the show so far? I didn't. Thank you so much for being here, guys. This is my first ever stand-up special in English. I'm very, very nervous. I've done 2 stand-up specials in Bahasa Indonesia, and they both suck. Which is why I'm doing another one in English. Because I want everyone to know, when I perform comedy in English, I also suck. Oh dear. So basically, this is just the intro part. There's a lot of things that I want to share with you guys about the show, about the opening acts. For starters, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. That's right. I'm ready to be miserable. Thank you for buying the tickets. I don't have to cancel the wedding. Otherwise, you'll see the headline: Chinese comedian killed by Jaffa girlfriend. Like. So. You guys helped me stay alive. Good for you guys. I love the show. I love my friends. They open really well for me. I've done comedy for quite some times now. My longest achievement is probably I performed at a national competition called Suci Kompas TV. No, don't applaud. Enough with the applaud. That's okay. It's not a jerk-off session. Thank you. I appreciate the love, Dion, but it's okay. I performed at a competition called Suci Kompas TV Season 9. I got eliminated on the seventh round, I think. I ranked 7. And I got eliminated because my jokes were deemed too offensive. I did a joke about K-pop. The joke was something along like, I didn't remember exactly, but the joke was something like, me and my girlfriend, we have very different tastes in music. She listens to K-pop, I listen to music. The joke was probably something like that, but I didn't remember exactly. And then people were warning me like, oh, Ben, once the show airs, you're going to be in so much trouble. They're going to dox you. They're going to cancel you. You're going to lose so many gigs. You'll be in so much trouble. The show aired, nothing happened. Like really, nothing happened at all. And then fast forward, a few months later, I've performed with this comedy group called Majelis Lucu Indonesia. So I performed in 4 cities. I forgot what are the cities. But then one day in Malang, I performed with them, and then it was around 2 p.m. in the WhatsApp group. I said, road managers of Majelis Lucu Indonesia are fucking stupid, with a smile emoji. Nobody laughed. And then they punched me in the head, they punched me in the chest. And I said that not because I was drunk. It's just that I had too much buffet, okay? Have you ever had too much buffet and you start losing hearing? That's exactly what happened to me. So they really hated me then, and then they uploaded the stories to YouTube. They talk about me they trash talk me on podcasts about how much I have a terrible attitude. A lot of people starting to hate me. I got a lot of online hate. I started losing gigs, and that's when you learn a lesson in your life. If you want people to hate you, you don't need to talk trash about K-pop. You just need to be yourself. You see, online hate is a very interesting subject, isn't it? Now, if you recall, I chose Blind Man Jack as my opening act, not because he's just a naturally silly guy. Like one time I was in a Grab car with him, sitting next to him, and he would just go, Ben, look at that nasi padang. Wait, what the fuck? His wife is Ambonese. His wife looks very Eastern, very Timur. And I kept telling him, like, I just want to make fun of him if he realized that. And I would just say, hey, Jack, did you know that your wife is Chinese? And he would say something like, no, my wife is not Chinese. She doesn't do mass produce. And that's when I learned blind people can be racist. I love Jack so much. Now, he reminded me of the first time I got massive online hate, exactly 4 years ago, during the Asian Games. Now, the Asian Games, as we recall it in Jakarta, was the most peaceful time in Indonesia. Everyone is united in the name of sports. Everyone had a great time. Few months later, after the Asian Games ended, we have the Asian Paralympic Games, which is a sporting event that nobody really cares. But that's my kind of entertainment. Now, if you recall, there was an incident, and you can still find this on YouTube. There was an event during an interview during the Asian Autism Games. There was this boy who was on the spectrum. Sitting next to him is his mom and a lady reporter. The reporter was asking this kid, what do you think about this event? And the kid goes, I don't care, I want to buy trucks. Like, that's probably the best comeback line. You could use that in every scenario just to fuck with people. Do you take this man as your husband? I don't care, I want to buy trucks. That was the first one. The second one is during a sport called blind judo, if you recall. Now, it was a very controversial subject because this lady, she did not want to take off her hijab. And she got disqualified. And people were arguing all around, oh, it's her right, it's her religion, she should not have to take it off. And some people like, then she shouldn't enter the competition in the first place. I personally don't care. When was the last time you heard a sport called blind judo? How many blind people sport do you know? Did you know there's a sport called blind archery? Here's a bunch of blind people. Let's give them a bow and arrow. What could possibly go wrong? And my personal favorite has always been blind football. It's an amazing game. It's a real game, blind football. Oh, you should watch it. Sometimes it's an amazing game. You know when your team loses and the supporters start to yell, the referee is blind. Well, not on this one. Blind football, it's an amazing match. There's no racism in the field. There's no red card, yellow card, only braille card. And the best part about blind people playing football, they play way better than Manchester United. I uploaded that joke 4 years ago. And I got so many hate. I got so many hate comments online from the blind community. Because they don't want to be compared to Manchester United. But if you have the opportunity to watch a blind football match, I strongly suggest go watch and support them. I can almost guarantee you in the stadium there will be no tear gas. It's okay, fuck PSSI, man. That's Jack. I love Jack so much. And this is something that's completely unrelated. You see, we have a comedy group called Batavia Jokers. Now, initially, we call ourselves Jakarta English Comedy. And we have to rename it because someone sent us a DM asking for a LASIK surgery. LASIK surgery? And then it took me a while that Jakarta English Comedy is JEC. Jakarta Eye Center. So I politely declined, sorry, we don't do that, we're a comedy group. And I still regret it till this day. I should have said something like, sorry, last time we had a LASIK surgery, there was this guy named Jack. That's Blind Man Jack for you. Carlton Jensen, yes, he bought the tickets. Thank you for buying the tickets, Carlton. How many Chinese people do you know by the name Carlton? I mean, there's a Kevin, Vincent, William. Chinese, you all know that. Never a Carlton, I'm pretty sure he's adopted. Carlton does a lot of song covers. He does a lot of song covers into his own lyrics. He's the pinnacle of a Chinese person. He copies something and makes it worse. But it's true, I'm very desperate with the ticket sales, guys. You see, last month, a day after I posted my special on Instagram, my account got suspended. Because I had a friend who was in Tokyo, and I asked him, hey buddy, are you gonna buy the tickets? And he replied, sure, but first send me a dick pic. Because that's what straight men do to each other, right? We send dick pics on DM, right? So I sent him a dick pic, but not my dick. I sent him a picture of a big black African dick. 2 minutes later, my account got suspended due to copyright infringement. You see, Instagram found out that it's not my dick. I was very frustrated last month, like, how the fuck am I gonna sell my tickets? And how am I going to explain to my girlfriend that I have a picture of a big black African dick on my phone? And when she saw it, why do you have this picture? And I went, well, honey, it's because I identify as black. My pronouns are he, they, what up, dog? And I chose Muzaki as my opening act. It's very simple. His wife is Chinese, I'm Chinese. He's very used to being enslaved by the Chinese. I love Muzaki. The problem is Muzaki is a web designer. He's a web designer. That means he's always on his laptop. And you would not get comfortable if you see that guy with a laptop in this bar filled with drunk people, okay? So I might as well say, Muzaki, okay, you can bomb on stage, just don't bomb anywhere else. You get the pun, bomb. There was a really good joke in my head. Fucking hell, it didn't work. Can I get a drink, guys? Now I pee on stage. All right. This is my achievement, peeing on stage. Now, I want to support anyone that is pursuing their dreams. I want to support anyone because I used to look down on people. Like, it's a terrible thing to do. You see, I learned this from my friend who was in Tokyo that I sent dick pic to. He told me that the most poisonous fish in the world is one of Japan's finest delicacy. It's called the fugu fish or the puffer fish. And in order to become a fugu fish chef, you have to learn to practice how to slice the fish for 7 years. Imagine that, learning 7 years just to learn how to slice fish. You know what you can accomplish in 7 years? You could become a doctor. And then I realized I've been doing comedy for 8 years. And my tickets aren't even sold out. But by COVID standard, this is pretty good. And if you think doing comedy for 8 years is bad, wait till you hear a story about a friend of mine who's been promoting comedy in Jakarta for 21 years and is hosting this night. Like the problem with Eamon, he has this brand called Mad About Comedy, MAC. It's a good brand, but it's very bule-centrist. I kept telling him, you have to rebrand it to be more localized. So just call it Mad About Comedy. It will be so much better. Please welcome the comedians of MAC. It's so much better. We're all very squishy. And fun fact about Iman. You see, 3 months ago, arguably one of the biggest comedian in the world came to Jakarta and Bali, sold 3,000 tickets. His name is Uncle Roger, Nigel Ng. And Iman was hosting Uncle Roger. He was hosting Nigel Ng, Uncle Roger 3 months ago, and today he's hosting for me. You are now my bitch, white man. That was just the intro. Are you guys ready to start the show? Yeah? Okay. My favorite porno has always been teacher and student. Because I used to be an English teacher, and I've had scenarios where students came up to me and go, "No, Mr. Ben, please don't fail my test. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. No, Mr. Ben, please don't fail me. I'll do anything for you, Mr. Ben. You will not tempt me. I am a professional teacher. Go home, Hassan." And the problem... And the problem with these Gen Z kids is that they cannot handle rejection very well. So the moment I reject him, he started crying in the corner. And I felt really bad, so I said, "Hassan, come here." Yeah, but still, the plot twist is I'm still a professional teacher, so I still have to fail his grades. Now, the problem with the local teachers is that we're always competing with the native speakers because they earn way more than us. And it's obvious, they speak way better English. It's just not fair. You don't see a math teacher competing with a calculator, okay? So, it's just not fair we're competing with the native speakers. Now, even most of the native speakers in my office was not even native. One of them, in fact, was an Italian guy, which means English is not even his native language. We had a parent complaining that their 7-year-old talks like an Italian. Their 7-year-old talks like a "Good morning, mi madre, mi padre, mwah." The Italian guy got fired that day, and I was so happy because I was the one who taught that kid, "Good morning, mi madre, mi padre, mwah." Like, I thought this is a very terrible stereotype. Nobody really does this, but someone was really offended by that joke. There was this lady. Apparently she's married to an Italian guy. She came up on stage and she went, "My husband's Italian. That's a terrible stereotype." "I'm sorry. Can I apologize to your husband? Is he with you right now?" "No, he's at home making pasta." Like, what the fuck? I proved my point. Now, this is something that's going to be a bit sensitive. In Indonesia, we have something, unspoken rule, something that I call the bule privilege. Like, if you're a bule, you will get these sort of weird privileges because Indonesians like look up to you guys. Now, I'm not being racist, maybe a bit. Now, But this is a hard, cold truth. This is happening all over. My boss was a tall, white English guy. His name is Stuart. Everybody calls him Stu. I call him, let's go, Stu. What do you mean, let's go? Your name is Stu, Stu 23. And he would say something, Mr. Ben, this is why you will never be a full-time stand-up comedian. I'm like, fuck you, Stu. Every time we walk past by a coffee shop, most of the times, not every time, we would have the owner or some barista going, hey, Mr. Bule, come here, I give you discount. Take my coffee, take my bread, I give you 50% discount. And I'm like, yes, dude, we got discount. Hey, not only for the Bule, not for the China. Like, and it happens very often. Because the problem is, a lot of you guys, like how many of you know what Bule really means? Do you know what Bule actually means? Now, I'm going to give you an English lesson, okay? I'm an English teacher. So, Bule derives from an area and a word called bulai. Bulai is a disease and an area that turns corn from yellow to white. So it's a disease. We've been calling them bule. They're okay with it. You guys are okay with it. And nothing ever went wrong. If someone called me a Wuhan, I would punch them in the face. And we've done so much worse than changing the color of a vegetable. Like, bule, we've been calling them bule privilege because that has happened all the time. Now, my theory, now here's the problem. We always ask the wrong questions towards the bule. We always ask the wrong question. We always ask, Mister, what is your favorite food in Indonesia? Right? We always ask the bule, what is your favorite food? It's simply because we want to feel that overproud moment when you say, oh, I love nasi goreng, bakso. Remember fucking Obama? He said, I love nasi goreng, bakso. Woo! Like, what the fuck is just nasi goreng? Right? It happens way too often. That's the first one. We always ask, what is your favorite food? The second one, we always ask the wrong question, how long have you been here in Indonesia? I don't believe that's the right question. The right question should always be, Mister, how long should you be here in Indonesia? Just maybe, if we ask the right question, the Dutch won't have to stay this long. My theory, the Dutch weren't even targeting Indonesia. They were heading towards Australia. As they were passing Indonesia, the Indonesians were like, hey, Mr. Bule, come here. I give you my land, I give you my wife. As an English teacher, I used to teach at Strangers Place. I once taught at Pesantren. It's where Muzaki came from. You all know what's a Pesantren, right? It's a place. It's just that I'm trying to adapt at places like that. Like when I come in and I go, good morning everyone, how are you? My name is Mr. Ben, let's study some English. And they were like, Assalamualaikum Mr. Ben. Okay, Walaikum salam mother fathers. And we started the lesson. All right, doctor goes to hospital. Chef goes to kitchen. Any question? And then there was this one kid who was like 9 years old. One kid, he goes, Mr. Ben, you're a Muslim or not? Like, that's the first question I got, 9 a.m. in the morning. Mr. Ben, you're a Muslim or not? Sorry, I'm not a Muslim. I don't know why I have to say sorry. Mr. Ben, if you're not a Muslim, you will die as an infidel and burn forever in hell. I'm like, holy fuck. Who taught you that? Your grammar is amazing. Infidel goes to hell. But it's still a terrible thing to say to a grown-up, so I asked, like, who taught you that? My brother's Muzaki, that explains a lot. All right, if you've seen me perform more than once, you're gonna get bored on this part, but I have to do this joke because this is a very sacred night, and this is a joke that I've been doing for 6 years, and there will be a twist at the end, so get ready. So, a good friend of mine, I perform comedy in English for quite some time. A good friend of mine, his name is David. He lived in Indonesia for a few years, so he speaks fluent Bahasa. So one day, I sent him a text message. I said, hey David, how's it going? This is Ben. In which he replied, I'm doing great. Which Ben is this, by the way? And I said, you know, this is Ben, the awesome Chinese comedian. And his response, oh, now I remember, it's you, Ben Chong. Now, At this point, I don't know what makes me angrier. The fact that he just called me a bencong in my own language, or the fact that I cannot be angry at him because Chong is my real Chinese name. I feel the sad laughter because you've heard it and you just want to pity me, but that's okay. Now, after a joke, like people tend to ask me, Ben, are you really gay? No, I'm not gay. I'm a Chinese comedian that lives in Jakarta. Life is difficult enough. Why the fuck do I need to be gay? I already have someone that fucks me in the ass every day, and his name is Anies Baswedan. And soon he's running for president. It's gonna get so much better. Now, a lot of comedians tend to exaggerate stories. We tend to make up stories for fun, but what a lot of you don't know is that that joke was given to me by a good friend of mine. His name is David. He's real, and he is here in the audience tonight. And I'm gonna call him up on stage. Give it up for David! This is... You can have this. Hi.
Am I getting paid for this? Bule's only come here for money, right?
You'll get a blowjob. How long have you lived here in Indonesia?
20 years.
20 years. And how long should you be here?
Probably another 3 weeks when they find out I'm not Megawatti's love child.
Where did you learn the term bencong, the word bencong?
By accident.
Give it up for David! Fucking bullets, man. You put them on. It's like a reverse colonialism. Fun fact. Chinese Indonesians are the minority. There's only 15% of us, but did you know that we control 85% of the economy? That's right. We're the minorities, but we control the big media, the big corporations. We're the minorities, but we control this country from the inside. So basically, we are the Jews of Indonesia. Our only differences are we have small squinty eyes and we absolutely love pork. Because Yahudi don't eat pork. Like, I have to explain that part. Like, people tend to make fun of these small squinty eyes. This is an evolutionary advantage, guys. Be proud of this. Makes it easier for us to work on spreadsheet. Right? In fact, I'm so proud of being Chinese, I still own a Xiaomi. Does anyone else own a Xiaomi in this room? Woo! It's good to know I'm not the only poor person here. The best part of a Chinese phone is that it has a feature called the fingerprint recognition. Very common feature in smartphone nowadays. But did you know that the fingerprint recognition originates from China? Because in China, face recognition is useless. Silly jokes. Now, this is my favorite part of the stand-up. I love to see you guys laugh. Like, some of you are laughing, some of you are sleeping, and that's okay. But I'm very shitty at the business aspect of this. I'm really terrible at this part. I used to have a Chinese manager who is not even Chinese, but he behaves way more Chinese than me. Like, one time I got a gig at this really big cigarette company, and the company asked me, like, how much do you want? And I misheard it as, what do you want? So I said, I want cheeseburger and fries. So I performed at a cigarette company for 10 minutes, like I could earn top millions, and they offered me cigarette, and I asked for French fries, right? Burgers and fries. So when I called my manager, he was so pissed, like, I got a gig at this big company. How much are they paying you? 10 million? Cheeseburger and fries. How the fuck are you gonna pay me? You can have the fries. I'm very bad at that aspect. Like, he's so Chinese. We were driving by. I was in a car sitting next to me, and you guys know those street food vendors, like with the nuts and the colored mangoes and all of those weird shit that they have. And then they offered him, like, excuse me, sir, do you want to buy one bag of peanuts? And he was like, sure, how much for one bag of peanuts? 4,000 rupiah. I give you 3,000 for 2 bags. And for some fucked up negotiation, he gave it to him. He gave it to him, and then he said, Ben, step on the gas. Okay. And I can hear the poor guy screaming on the back, I fucking hate Chinese people. And without a feeling of guilt, he was munching the bag of peanuts and looked at me and went, Ben, I think he was talking to you. I love him to death, but he already left me. He got me a gig in Malang. It's a very, very weird place. He got me a plane ticket on the way back. He didn't buy me a plane ticket on the way back. He bought me a train ride. Do you have any idea how long is Malang to Jakarta? 16 hours. I have to ride 16 hours economy class train ride. 16 hours economy class train ride. And I called him, why the fuck are you buying me an economy class train ride? That's what happens when you pay your manager with French fries. So I got into the train, 1,000 passengers. I was the only Chinese person. If there's a riot in this train, can you guess who's gonna die first? As I was walking by, I can see everyone was looking at me. They were whispering, but I can hear them vividly and clearly. Oh, what is that Chinese doing here? Is he illegal? Is he the owner of this train? Is he lost? And then I can hear one guy who's panting. There was this one racist guy. He went, Oi! You China, you illegal or not? You Indonesia or not? I could have said something like, saya orang Indonesia, Pak. But I was so terrified. I said something like, Sawadee-kap, and I fucked up. As I got into my seat, I was sitting with a guy who was very proudly Indonesian. He was wearing that overpriced t-shirt. Damn, I love Indonesia. You know that stupid t-shirt. And he was live streaming a badminton match of the Minions versus China. The Minions, for those of you who don't know, are arguably one of Indonesia's best couple. Chinese Indonesians, Kevin Sanjaya and Marcus Gideon. They are amazing. I love them. But I don't watch Indonesian badminton because we always win. Because you all know my kind of entertainment has always been blind football. So, as he was watching, he was like, woohoo! Indonesia is winning! Indonesia is winning! Look, sir, Indonesia is winning! Oh my God, that's amazing! Which one is Indonesia? They are the couple with small slanty eyes. But they all have small slanty eyes. Yes, just like you, mister. I fucking hate you. And your t-shirt is fake. Because it's made in China. I don't have an ending to that joke. I was in Australia a few years ago. You know how Australia is known for its dangerous creatures? Like sharks, snakes, spiders, crocodiles, prime ministers. Indonesians are not afraid of those things. You know what's terrifying for an Indonesian living in Australia? The living cost. Fucking expensive. I saw a whole chicken at the supermarket can cost up to $16. You pay $16 for a whole chicken in Jakarta, you can bring home the butcher. And 2015 was not a good year because there was Bali 9. There was 2 Australian drug lords executed, and everyone in Australia were like, oh, Indonesia shouldn't have done that, Jokowi shouldn't do this and that. It was terrifying for me as an Indonesian, but luckily with this face, when my friend asked me, Ben, are you from Indonesia? I'm from Thailand. Really? Which city in Thailand? Penang, I'm from Penang in Thailand. I thought Penang is in Malaysia. There's a Penang in Thailand. Sawadee-kap. Half lalu ditangkap. That's a very receh punchline, yeah. I can see the bules are very confused. What is half lalu ditangkap? Makanya di Indo. Are you guys enjoying the show so far? I get very anxious because this is my first one. My first special, and I'm going to leave you guys with this. This is something that's a bit emotional to me. I don't know if you guys can laugh at this. My girlfriend has a very beautiful and authentic Javanese name. Her name is Puji Astuti. It's a very beautiful Javanese authentic name, but I call her Pussy STD. I love her to death, but it's really weird when we argue like couples do. Like, we would get at certain points like, oh, I hate Japanese people. Well, the Chinese can never be president. We don't need to be president. We already own the country. The arguments get really weird. So I'm going to marry a Japanese girl because I still want to be on the higher hierarchy, not like Muzaki. He's marrying a Chinese girl. They cost way more, Muzaki. It's a very terrible thing. So the thing about marriage in Indonesia, you have to convert to the same religion, right? So I have to convert to my family. I grew up Catholic. My family was a very devout Catholic. I have to convert to Christian. Like, I don't know what's the difference really. I don't go to church anymore. Like, Catholic to Christian, it's like China and Taiwan. Like, I know they hate each other, I just don't know the issue. It's true. I grew up my mom was having a hard time accepting that. Like, Mom, it makes no difference, I don't go to church anymore. Because she used to be a very devout Catholic. She grew up Catholic. She told me to go to Sunday school. She told me to go to church every Sunday. I always hated missing cartoons. But if you're a Muslim in Indonesia, you're very lucky. You're not missing Doraemon, man. Like, it hurts me so much. But then as I grew up, she's just an old person. That's how she grew up with her environment. And I still love her to death. And she has a very noble request to me. She once said to me, Mom, why do you say Mom? Son, if you're rich, someday if you have enough money, I don't want you to buy me a car. I want you to build a church in a suburban area in Indonesia, which is a very noble request. And I love my mom. And I have paid a few million rupiah for an area in Borneo. And the licensing is very difficult. I've been paying off every month a couple of million rupiah. And in 3 or 4 years, I wanted to surprise my mom. Look, Mom, here's a church for you. And my mom converted to Buddhism. And what the fuck am I supposed to do now? And then I remember something, like, she always said, I don't want you to buy me a car, just build me a church. Like, buying a car is so much easier. You don't need some stupid permit, like, yeah, so that's the thing about my mom. That's a little bit background of myself. So I converted to Christian. You know what they do in the churches. So it's very ironic about the conversion thing, the Christian, where they dunk you like a tea bag, like this, right? So we have to find a swimming pool, and she graduated from one of the biggest Christian campus in Southeast Asia. I'm not gonna mention the name. It has 3 major swimming pools, and they don't allow you to do the conversion thing. Like, UPH is so weird, man. And so we have to find the nearest public pool with a kid like almost peeing on the pool, and it was a very weird moment to me. So eventually I converted to Christian. Yay, I'm a Christian now. I still don't feel the difference. And it's always very weird to me every time I go on church with her and I would hear a baby cry and nobody complained. It's very weird, isn't it? Like, you complain when a baby cries in a movie theater, in an airplane, never in a church. I think the baby felt what I felt. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, it's the same thing. So is everyone else. That's why no one is complaining. But they pretend, oh, I love being in a church. Like, this is the moment where she got to me, where I finally decided that I'm going to marry her. You see, I don't go to church anymore. I know I've mentioned that 2 million times already, but I said to her, like, are you sure you want to spend the rest of your life with me? Are you really sure about that? Because I'm not going to go to church with you every Sunday. I'd rather sleep or watch Doraemon on YouTube. It's something that I want. And then she said, well, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. But yeah, but imagine 20 years from now, you'll be alone, you'll be older, you will never have your husband by your side in a church. Are you ready for that? If it's with you, yes. And that got to me. Like, that's how I fell in love deeply with her. And that's the exact moment where I cheated on her. I didn't, in my defense, I wouldn't consider it cheating because I have this really weird fetish about sexting. Okay? I did it for a month or two, and then that's it, I quit. It's like when you're playing the claw machine in Time Zone. You know that? Like, you try 20 times to get that stupid teddy bear, and once you get it, you realize this is an ugly doll, and you threw it away. Like, I know that's a very misogynistic way of explaining how I like to do sexting. And then she started crying for days. She didn't eat, she didn't sleep for days, and I felt really bad. Like, we're all cool now, which is why I'm doing this special. And this is actually for her. Even though she's not helping with the ticket sales, but I still love her, and I still felt really bad. Now we can all laugh about it, but back then, like a few months ago, it was fucking hell. It was brutal. It was crazy. Like, she cried for days, and I felt really bad. I couldn't sleep for days as well because I felt so much guilt, and I felt what I did was not that bad because I had married friends who are openly sleeping with other girls, with hookers and such, and they think it's a normal thing, so I consider it's a normal thing, but then I realized, no, it's not normal. It's just that we normalize these kind of things, right? And so I decided I have to do the right thing. I have to set things right. I have to fix this. So I gathered up the courage. I went to her home. I wanted to apologize to her. Her mom was crying as well on the sofa. Her dad was on the front yard. And I said to her, Dad, please let me talk to her. Let me talk to her. Please, please let me talk to her just once. You are not welcome here, Ben. Please, I need to talk to her. Ben, do you even care? I do care. I want to buy trucks. No, that's not what I said. I do care. But please, give me a chance. Please. You won't do it in the first place if you really love her, Ben. Please, you are not welcome here. Go home. Please, I just want to talk one. Let me talk to Pussy STD. Please, just once. And he finally said, you come one step closer, I will beat your ass. I came one step closer. He tried to beat my ass, and I just dodged it because I used to be punched by MLE. Now I know how to dodge it. And then I started running for 10 minutes straight, and he was running after me, and he couldn't keep up with me. He was like, how the fuck is this fatty Chinese boy running so fast? Well, mister, it's because I identify as black. Have a good night, everyone. My name is Ben. Thank you for coming to my special.
Ben Danio, ladies and gentlemen.